Okay, so it's snowing for, I would say, really the first time this winter. And it happens to coincide with a really important landmark in Rhode Island being put back up, and that's the Independent Man here in Providence. For those that don't know, the Independent Man is this statue, and it sits atop the Rhode Island State House, which is just down the street from my house. It's a Saturday, and it looks kind of like, it looks really nice. It looks like it's like a big snow globe outside. It's very light snow, but enough snow where I think I can finally get a picture that I've wanted for quite some time, which is the Independent Man standing atop the State House with snow falling down all around it. Now here's the thing, for like the last year, the Independent Man has been down. They were doing a remodeling and restoration project for the whole State House. You can see the building from where I am right now. I looked at the weather and it says that the snow is supposed to continue for about another 45 minutes, and that was like 15 minutes ago. So I think I have like 30 minutes to get to my location, which is further up the hill, get set up, and try to get this photo of the Independent Man. All right, well, it's still snowing, so that's a good sign. I don't want to waste too much time. I gotta get out there. So this is a really great location. It's one that's really close to my house, which is always a plus. I tend to come here for sunsets. I've gotten a few photos of the state capitol in its disrepair, or it's being renovated without the Independent Man on top. Some really amazing sunsets from here. But there he is, back on top of the building, and so now I'm hoping to get something really interesting. All right, still snowing, which is great. And the shot's pretty straightforward. It's just gonna be a telephoto lens, 100 to 400, pointed at the top of the building. But the thing that I'm gonna have to be really mindful of is my shutter speed. I wanna make sure that I get the right shutter speed in order to get the snow in a way that is dramatic or peaceful, depending on how it ends up looking. See what we got here. Something else I forgot about is your lens acclimating from warm to cold and cold to warm. So this had to sit for a minute in order to, not be affected by the change in temperature and the moisture. But now I got to get this shot to be sort of where I want it to be. Looking pretty good. So right now my shutter is at 320th of a second. It's a very fast shutter. I'm gonna have to take a photo and then see if I can look at it in camera and zoom in and see if I got the snowy detail that I'm looking for. That's pretty good. So the catch is that my ISO is kind of getting a little bit higher, which is okay. It's lots of fluffy snow, so it's gonna kind of look grainy already. I think I might try to go even a little bit faster with my shutter, which means I'll have to compensate by bringing my ISO up some more, but I think it's worth it. So nice to have winter right now. It's something that we really haven't had much of. We haven't had snow like this, and so this is something that I've definitely missed for sure. All right, well, I think the snow has actually gotten too intense and it's starting to get harder to see things out there. So I think that's as good as we're gonna get. So now we gotta just we gotta get all the snow off this bag and pack up and head out, because I know my kids are gonna want to play in the snow today too. Well, that was great. The forecast didn't say it would snow quite this much, and so I'm really glad I could pop out of the house and get something that I've wanted for quite some time. And the other thing that I really like about finding beautiful locations that are near home is that it doesn't take me away from my family for very long. In total, between driving down here, getting set up, and taking the photo, it'll be about a 45-minute trip, and I can get back to doing things with my family on the weekend. And I think this weekend it'll call for playing in the snow, because this looks like exactly the kind of thing you want to do on a nice weekend day. So I'm excited to see these photos, how they turn out. Did we get the lovely wintry scene of the state capitol and the return of the independent man? I'll find out once I edit these photos. All right, so I'm back home and I've been able to sit down and take a look at these photos, and I'm overall happy with what I ended up getting, but I do think there is a little bit of room for improvement, and I want to show you why here in Lightroom. So if we take a look at the photo, this is the image that I ended up with, which I think I'm the happiest with, and if you zoom in on the photo, you can really see all of the snow. And I think the snow against the backdrop of the Capitol really does tell the story of what the weather was like. But like I said, when I was heading there, what I really wanted was to get the independent man in all its glory with the snow-swept scene. And I don't think I quite accomplished that, because if you zoom in here, you've got some here, but there's no information, there's no depth to it that allows you to see the snow coming through. I think probably my shutter was probably a hair too quick in this case, and it kind of like the snowflakes are like frozen in time rather than there being a little bit of motion to them, which I think would have filled the scene up a little bit more with the fluffy white snow, which would have been a better translation of what it was really like. What I ultimately ended up realizing was that I needed to make everything in the image darker so that the snow would pop out more in the photo. It was a really simple fix, and how I ended up here was I ended up reducing the highlights, I ended up reducing the blacks pretty significantly, and then I just did a very slight dehaze. So if we go to like 0 and then dehaze it by a little bit, and I did the same with the subject being the Capitol. I reduced the exposure, and by reducing the exposure, I feel like you were able to see the scene better. And I did the same thing with this image too, and I think that ended up making a really big difference in the overall look of the photo. So, a wintry day out, not far from home, getting an important Rhode Island landmark back up atop the state capitol. Hard to beat a wintry day like that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and if you can, subscribe. Any new subscribers I get will go a really long way. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.